Okay, so welcome, Diana, and thank you so much for joining me on A Curious Coach. It's an absolute honour. And for the audience, I would love to hand it over to you to just introduce you, who you are, and what led you to where you are today.
Okay, my name's Diana. I'm a coach. I do life coaching, mental fitness coaching, relationship coaching, and health coaching. And to be fair, as a life coach, all of them fit in with each other. So it's life coach will do, basically. What got me to where I am today? As a coach, it started a long time ago, because in 1997, I started doing voluntary work for an organization. And the way of communicating that they taught us to talk with people who would phone the hotline was coaching, because it was going for the question behind the question, what thoughts are behind it, sharing resources, but also having them rethink how things are, seeing the silver lining and all these kind of things. So it was quite fascinating that back then I already learned. Now, I didn't right away start properly coaching people because it was the voluntary work, and I did that for quite a long time, and it was really good. And then in 2017, I took it more professional after having done some more education under the real label of coaching instead of voluntary work. But yeah, I've done it with different organizations. Yeah.
I'm curious, Diana, like, because you were doing it through volunteering, was there a moment, and obviously confidentiality is huge, so I'm not asking you to break that, but in terms of, was there a moment as a volunteer that made you go, oh, I really like this skill, I really like what this stands for, that makes you go, I want to see where this path could take me? Is there a story behind that light bulb moment?
It's all small bits. So I did it for a parenting organization, for a breastfeeding organization, and for an organization that helped people on their journey with healthy nutrition. And every time I had someone that was doing really well, and frequently that meant that there were several different conversations. You know, the one-offs didn't really do much, but the more, when I ended up building up a bit of a relationship with someone, that really started to stand out. And it was in Switzerland where I started having this thing of, wow, this is actually really amazing, helping out people. And then there was a friend of mine who struggled with parenting and nutrition in their family. And then had this thing, can we talk? I said, yeah, sure. So we ended up having long conversations together about, you know, how their family was eating, how their family was doing certain things. And then she was really the starting point for me to start doing it in a more professional way. Because for her, her whole world ended up completely changing because her kids weren't really thriving, and it wasn't really all that hard to help her get to that point. She needed some insights, that was it.
Yeah, you said something really interesting there, because, you know, as a fellow life coach, it's it's such a simple process, but such a powerful process. And you said something there that it doesn't just happen in one conversation. It's only when you actually start having more conversations you realize the power behind it. And I really love the fact that you had a powerful conversation with a friend that enabled her to then transform her life. And I guess I would love to know, have you personally had to go on a transformational journey, a personal journey, to be able to understand that level of coaching more, or have you just gained so much knowledge and you're fascinated with the topic?
A bit of both. So for a long time, as a teenager, I already had this thing with meditation and personal development. I was one of those weird teenagers that was meditating at 16. Nobody in my school did that. I was one of those.
I think more should be like those, right?
Oh yeah, you should learn it in school. Honestly, it really changes your life. And then over the years, I went back and forth with it because certain stages in my life were not all that easy to keep up with it. So then it would fade a bit away again, and then later it would pop up again. And that always kept me going with, I want to know more, I want to know more. But then the last couple of years, I would say about 4 years ago, I was in a pretty bad place. And at some point I had this moment of, I'm going to be happy no matter what. No idea how I'm going to arrange this, no idea what I'm going to be doing about it, but that is what I'm going to be doing. So the only thing I did was focus on, what can I do today to make myself happier? And every day that grew and grew and grew. And I got more clarity by the day. But every morning, the first thing I had to do was look myself in the mirror, and I was thinking, I'm going to be happy, finding something to be happy about today. So I did things like these challenges, 100 happy days, all those kind of things. And they all added up slowly but carefully. So also friends started inviting me to all sorts of things like those challenges, which all just added up and added up and added up. And then about 2.5 years ago, I knew what my journey was going to be, how I was going to do it. Not that I had all the resources yet, but at that point I had to say, I'm quite happy now. What can I do to feel more fulfilled and loved? Because there were more gradations to the happy that I realized. And that then resulted in making some drastic life changes. And that has been really good. It's not been easy, but it's been really good.
Yeah, but that's really beautiful. And I like how you say that you actually put yourself in a situation where you were doing challenges, because so many of us will sit there and go, oh, well, we've been through hard times, but how do you get yourself up each morning and say, right, I need to find happiness when you're in a dark place? And I love how you took on, and there's so many of these challenges around, aren't there? And then you can go deeper and explore these challenges as your confidence grows. So thank you so much for sharing that, because I think it just shows that wherever you are in your journey, whoever you are, you can find one hook and small steps, and you can get deeper into that journey and then feel fulfilled or realize that there's layers of happiness and what it truly means. I think this leads on quite nicely. And again, it's only if you feel comfortable in sharing with your journey. What have been your greatest barriers / successes? Because I'm learning my greatest barriers are turning into the reason of my greatest successes. So,
Yes. So my greatest barrier has been my own thought processes. I was believing what I was thinking instead of having this thing, I can think that, but that doesn't have to be true. So learning that the thinking and the words of myself and others is what I had to learn, that whatever anybody says about me, it's not really none of my business. What they think about me, none of my business. I don't have to worry about how others see me, because I can't influence it anyway. And if we're not a good connection, we're not a good connection, fine, moving on. So learning that I don't have to take other people's thoughts and opinions serious, but also not my own. That last bit was a massive barrier. I've been most of my life a bit of a people pleaser, so I was always trying to figure out how to keep everybody happy, which is an impossible task. It really doesn't help. Try it. It's really not working.
Exhausting.
It is very exhausting. So it's been one of those journeys to get through, to stop people pleasing, to stop what other people say serious, because it's nothing personal. When they tell me they don't like me, that's fine. That's nothing personal, because it's them responding from the life they have, the world they live in, the cultural background, the school background, whatever they've been taught. It doesn't really matter, but it's their world, not mine. So, and it's also not anybody else's job to like me and love me other than me. So when I can like and love myself, I'm just in a good place. And being in that good place is just really nice. It's been a rough journey, but the not liking myself and not thinking I was good enough, and my own thoughts, those kind of things, they have been my biggest barrier. And then now also creating my biggest success, which has been a fabulous journey to go through. It's been just really beautiful. I don't know how else to put it, but it's been really amazing.
Is there a moment, and as we go on this journey, just in a conversation, really, we kind of have an image that pops up, or a moment that pops up, that learning to love yourself. And is there a moment that made you go, I love you? Like when you look to yourself going, wow, okay, I've done all this work and I've struggled, truly meaning it, because I think a lot of it we have to kind of not trick ourselves, that's the wrong word, but to really start this process, it's about saying it, even if you don't fully believe it at the start. And eventually you learn, actually, I'm not too bad. So do you have an image, a moment, that light bulb that you went, all right, Diana,
Again, that's not been just one moment. It's been a few moments. So one of the things has been that one of the coaches that I did some work with he had a job for me at some point that he said was going to be really hard. And to be fair, he was right. So every morning I had to tell myself, at least once a day, I had to tell myself while looking into my eyes in the mirror, I love you, Diana. Now, the first couple of times that put tears in my eyes. I really struggled with it. I really could not get it out of my mouth the first time. But over time, I had this thing, actually, I really do. And then I started liking, looking into my own eyes. I was looking forward to doing it in the morning. And then that was a really big shift. And there has been another big shift in my perception of love. The last 6 months, I think that's happened somewhere, is that I can love someone. They don't have to love me back. That's completely irrelevant. I can just be a loving, kind person without expecting anything in return. So with clients and friends and other people, loved ones in general, that's how I've started living, not knowing anything about whether or not they were having any feelings for me, or whether they even liked me. It didn't matter, because I could just be that, and that created a lot more love in me, I guess, for myself as well. Because I can have a moment where I'm not that happy with myself, but I guess I love myself. When my kids do something that I'm not particularly happy with, that doesn't mean I love them less. So having that realization that love doesn't have to be a two-way street. It can be a one-way street. But what that then does is that because I'm just being me and loving and kind, it becomes a two-way street as well. That's been the really crazy thing, thinking that it's an exchange as such, but it doesn't have to be. It all starts with me. Everything starts with me. So when I can take that responsibility, not put on the big girl pants, be responsible for everything I do in my life. Be responsible for how I treat people, how I look at people, how I behave around people. I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, because I mess up here and there quite badly, but that's okay as well, because I can then apologize and be loving about that, and that then works out as well. So yeah, those two things have been the biggest things on this journey.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And thank you so much for sharing, because I'm sitting here and it relates a lot to me. And there does come a point when you said, time to put your big girl pants on and say, right, okay, take responsibility for how you want to present and how you want to share your meaning of love is the message that's coming through to me. And it's so true. Drop the expectation from others, love yourself and love the way you choose to, because then it does come back and people have permission to show their love to you in the way that they feel they can, because there's an unwritten or mutual communication of permission, isn't there, that you're allowed.
Yeah, but what the other thing is that when I love whoever I love, it sometimes comes back from corners where you least expect it, and that's really beautiful. The moment you have this thing of, wow, I didn't see that one coming. I thought that was just, but no. Then you get this really deep connection, and that's just beautiful.
Yeah. Have you got like a sensation that comes when you get that, when love comes from a different direction, of like, oh, has that happened recently? I get really excited about things like this, so I'm simply being curious, like that.
Yes, I've had a moment not too long ago where I had to think, oh my God, this is so cool. So yeah, it was really one of those chills, chills down my spine.
Wow, I can imagine.
It was big surprise, but a beautiful surprise.
Yeah, and I think love is such a huge topic, and again, we started this conversation prior to me introducing you, that let's just see where this conversation flows. And I think love is huge, and so much is going on that when you simplify it, that's where the power is. That's where you get the chills down your body, and listening to you there, it's like, yes, the chills down your body, and that wow moment is what love should feel like, not because you feel you need to say it or try and gift it and force it.
Showing it works a lot better. You can say it as well, but I think saying it without, it can be depending a bit on people, but some people just say it out of habit without really having much meaning, and other people can show it without actually ever saying it.
Yeah.
And it's both really fascinating to see how that works.
Yeah.
And in my world, there's unlimited love in the universe. So yeah, why not just do it?
Yeah. Why not just do it? Let's spread the love. And I suppose if I was to say, right, okay, we're going to catch up again in 12 months' time, and I would love to know the journey that Diana, who loves herself, who is receiving love, who's getting the shivers down her spine type love. What kind of journey do you see yourself going on? You know, you've mentioned a couple of times that life has been hard, that you've had to learn to really look at yourself in the eyes and say, you've got this, you know, we're here. What's the journey when we speak next? What would you like to be saying, or what have you experienced?
One thing that is a really big focus of mine is to get myself much deeper into the connection with the universe through meditation. And that's it. That's where I want to go. And I want to be there next year. I want to have that connection where I can, this may sound really, really fluffy, but where I can just be in my future and know that it will happen. Those kind of things where I I'm very good at manifesting the life that's suitable for my family and myself.
And you use the word manifest. Can we get a little insight of the type of thing that you'd like to manifest in? Like, can you see yourself surrounded by particular people or in a particular environment? And again, share only where you feel comfortable, because I will continuously be curious.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I want to create is a bigger business in a variety of things surrounding coaching, health and wellness. And I want my kids to be part of that. So I've got 4 daughters, 3 of them adults, and all of them have skills in that, whichever skills they have, and I just want them to have that, the freedom that I want to create for us all, so that they can work the hours they want to and live the life that suits them and grandbabies, whatever's going to be there. There's 1 so far, and there will no doubt be more at some point, but yeah, that they can be independent, that they're not dependent on people or other things, that we just have this company that we're going to grow.
Beautiful, like a togetherness. Yeah,
I have a really good relationship with all of them, and when I brought that to them, they had to say, yeah, let's do it. So they're quite enthusiastic about the idea.
But I think it's hooking onto that enthusiasm and just seeing where it goes, right? So the fact that you're going into your aim is to go into this connect with meditation on a different level to be able to manifest these things. It is truly down to, if you get excited, if we go back to the idea of love, for that tingle down your body and wow, it's just happened, then that's what it's about. That's what life is about, right?
That's the thing that I'm learning through the process that I'm doing now, is that when you can get into the feelings of gratitude and happiness about what you've achieved before you've achieved it, that's where your mind will go, that's where your body will go, because you've programmed it then to create that future. It's this thing of that it's a roadmap to your future instead of what we normally have, our records of the past, because we frequently just are stuck in our thoughts of the past, which I these days label as my bad movies. I don't really need to see them all the time. And a bad movie I wouldn't watch over and over and over and over and over, but some things of my past I have watched so often that I say, why am I still doing that? So yeah, most of those I've left behind now, but not all. I'm still working on that. But I am much more thinking about how to create that blueprint of that roadmap to my future.
Yeah, and I think what's lovely is the roadmap is yours and you're in control of it.
Yep.
You can allow it to switch and change. And it's interesting, something that's coming up for me as I'm listening to you. I know that there'll be people listening going, oh, well, I have rubbish movies going around in my head. Like, how do I even let go of them? Where do I even begin? And how do I even know where I want to go? You kind of get stuck in a rut. What would your message be, to those people who are like, yeah, I can't look at myself in the mirror. I have these rubbish movies constantly going around. And like you said, you wouldn't go to the cinema and watch it over and over again. And you wouldn't. It'd be a waste of money, wouldn't it?
Yep.
What would your message be to that group?
Start small. So for me, it started with a decision, I'm going to be happy. And then I had to think about, what does that look like? What does happiness look like for me? And at that point, when I decided it was, a very, very simplified. For me, is that I wanted to have one thing per day that I could laugh about.
Yeah.
That was something I found important. And the other thing is that at that short after I decided that, a friend invited me to the 100 Happy Days challenge. So it created that I had to take a picture of something that made me happy every day. And some days I really had this thing, well, what would I take a picture of? There's nothing in my life to make me happy. But then I started realizing, actually, when the sun came up in the morning and it was nice and warm, because it was spring at the time, that would make me happy, and it put a smile on my face. And then I saw flowers blossoming again. So I started to realize that there were small things that could make me happy. Initially, I really wanted the big things, but it doesn't start with the big things when you want to change your thought process. At least not for me. So I went for the smaller things, but from there on, it started accelerating quite rapidly, because I started seeing many, many other things that made me happy. So just going for a dog walk in the woods would make me happy, because there was so much beauty to see, so many new leaves, so many new flowers. And that changed my thinking. And from there on, I slowly but carefully could start focusing on, what do I want with my life? What future do I want to create? Where do I want to go? Which people fit into my future? And all those kind of things. So from there on, things started to grow and grow and grow. And yeah, talking with people who are relatively well schooled in things like coaching and psychotherapy, because there was some point where I really had this thing, right, I need to make a shift and I don't know how to do this on my own, so I'm going to look for some professional help. And that did help as well.
Yeah, I think that's wow, because it's so true. You said something in terms of like, well, what am I meant to take a picture of?
Yeah.
And you start small and all of a sudden you start attracting, or you open your eyes, and
Yes.
Correct me if I've misunderstood, you start opening your eyes to realize it isn't all doom and gloom surrounding you. More and more beauty pops up. But again, the next thing you said was, but there are things that it's okay to ask for help with, and to go and get professional help, because sometimes we go through things in life that are terrifying to try and understand and unravel, and too hard to break through alone. So thank you for bringing both those concepts that have had equal powerful results, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, for me, it's been this thing of, the moment I get stuck, I want to get unstuck. And it took me a bit to figure out who to talk to, but there are a variety of people out there. I've got quite a couple of really good friends in the coaching community. So slowly but carefully, that's been really good to just, when I get stuck, ping one of them and I was thinking, can you help me through this? And usually that is, one of my friends, she's really good. Within 15 minutes, she tends to have me unstuck, and then I was like, how do I help you do that? It's just amazing. But that's something that she and I have, that connection. I don't have that with many people. She has not had that with anybody else. But between the two of us, we just need 10, 15 minutes and then poof, there we go. But she also has that connection towards me a bit. So whenever she gets stuck and feels like she can't get unstuck, we talk as well. So it's just that I don't do it in 15 minutes max as she does. I don't know how she does that, but she's really good at that.
Incredible. But maybe on that, it's the way she makes you feel, when it's that comfort You know, when as professionals we provide a platform, or we have a friend that we can go to, it's down to how comfortable you feel and how vulnerable you feel you are able to be with that person. And maybe she's that person that just enables you to go, okay, this is where I'm at, this is my reality. And
yes, she's definitely one of these people where I feel that she doesn't have to agree with me to not judge me. So we have differing opinions on some things, and they're big, but she will not judge me on it. Not one bit. She respects it. And that's why I feel very, very safe to just throw whatever is out there onto her lap and can you help me with this?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, wow. Oh no, I've had about a year ago, I was really stuck on my putting myself out there, as in letting people see who I am and being public about, look, this is what I do for a living and I can help many people with what I do. And then we dove a bit into why is that? And then I realized that how am I going to put that? So the partner of an ex of mine has been very judgmental about me, not knowing me and having all these preconceived ideas about me. And I've realized that she has no idea who I've been. But that had stopped me from putting myself out there because I didn't want to have anyone then talking badly about me behind my back. And then I thought, well, people are going to do that anyway. It doesn't matter whether she does or not, because there's always going to be someone who doesn't like what I do, and that's fine. It's irrelevant. So the moment that I got that clarity where it came from and how that stopped me at that point, that stopping was gone, and we were really through that in 10 minutes time. That was just really super quick.
Yeah, well, that's an incredible message and an incredible realization of suddenly going, I can't control other people's thoughts or how they're going to love me or show me their affection or what they believe in me or don't. So the fact that you were able to tap into that, and as soon as you did, were able to go, oh, that's a weight that I can let go of. Like that's a good thing.
Literally felt that way, a weight off my shoulders. Yeah.
That's incredible. And I do really appreciate you coming on here and sharing your story and the journey you've been on. Because I think there's a lot of messages in there that I know I'm sitting and relating with. And I know there's going to be other people that are like, okay, yes, it's not easy. And you've made that very clear. It's
a journey.
It's a journey. And that just because you overcome one barrier doesn't mean there's not others. That's life's journeys.
The thing is, as long as you can see it as a journey and as a beautiful journey to better, instead of that you only focus on the end goal, because the end goal, what is it going to be in life? Well, the end goal of life is death. So let's not focus too much on that. And let's just focus on the journey, because the journey is beautiful.
The journey is beautiful and the journey is life, right? Life is the journey. And I think that's probably been one of my biggest lessons. Like, well, what is the journey? What does it all mean? Well, we're living it every moment we wake up.
Just keep doing it.
Wow. Well, I appreciate you very, very much, Diana. And I know deep down you will achieve your manifestations and your meditation goals. And I just want everyone to know that if they want to reach out and connect with you, that I will make sure all your information is in the summary below. And apart from that, just thank you.
No, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed this. It was really nice to do.
Yeah, it was. I'm left with a great feeling, and I hope you're still relaxed and very calm.
Yep. All good. I really had a good time, so all good.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for listening.